Hello and welcome to another Royal Facts in Date video. Today this video is going to be about King William IV of the United Kingdom, but was also known as the Duke of Clarence and St Andrews. Now, William was the third son of King George III and his wife, and like his two older brothers, he had a pretty basic royal life. Up to the age of 13, he lived either at Windsor or in other royal estates around the country. But when he turned 13, he went and joined the Navy, and over this time he did all his training that he would have to do, and he went aboard ship, and he did everything that a young midshipman would have to do to get on in the Royal Navy at the time. There is particularly one story of him getting drunk and having a fight in a port in Gibraltar, to where he was arrested by military police and held for a number of hours until it was confirmed who he was, at which point he was released very quickly and nothing was done about it. After this he carried on doing naval work, and he just moved from ship to ship, really. He even served under Horatio Nelson, and him and Nelson became firm friends later in life. After a few years in the Navy and getting a bit bored of that, he decided that he wished to return to Britain and do something worthwhile with his life. And when he did return, he informed his father that he wished to be given a dukedom like his two older brothers, the Prince of Wales and the Duke of York. To which his father was not exactly thrilled about this prospect, so he attempted to persuade him not to do this. But William decided that if his father wasn't going to give him a dukedom, he would stand as a member of Parliament and get involved in politics that way. At which point his father created the Duke of Clarence and St Andrews, and which of course made sitting in the House of Parliament a complete no, and standing for political office. So once he was granted his dukedom, he ceased his active naval career, which, strangely enough, was roughly around the same time that Britain declared war on the French. And it was around this time where he began his relationship with a actress, and her name was known as Mrs. Jordan. Over their 20-year relationship, they lived together and they had 10 children. They had 5 sons and 5 daughters. And what will follow is a long list of all their children's names. Of course, around this time also, after his relationship with Mrs. Jordan had ended and all of those children had been born, he was forced by his father and his mother to marry and have legitimate children, because of course all of those children that have been listed were illegitimate. And he married Princess Adeline, who was a relation. So, over their marriage, they had a number of children. Unfortunately, a lot of them were either stillbirths or died soon after birth. And over a span of 4 or 5 years, there were a number of pregnancies and a number of births. And things did not improve the marriage, and there was said that there were 3 daughters, and the last pregnancy was reported to be twin boys. Like I say, this did not improve the marriage or his prospects of becoming a father to the next monarch. So, during the Regency period, when his father was declared mad and his brother Prince George became Prince Regent, he was either here in Britain or in Germany. And he tried to help as best he could with his wife. Then, of course, in 1820, of course, his father died, and his brother George became king in his own right and became George IV. And this was a very big change from his father's reign. His brother became very flamboyant. He lived the same way he had lived as Prince of Wales and Prince Regent. He threw massive parties. He had celebrations. He had large concerts in his palaces. He had French chefs in royal kitchens. He had German bands playing music every morning and every evening. He spent far too much money, and he became unrealistic. And so when he died 10 years later in 1830, of course, his older brother, the Duke of York, had died previously, so he became King William, and he decided to revert back to a more traditional way of being a king, and he got rid of all of the over-expensive things that his brother had put in force. He then got rid of all of the expensive cooks, all of the bands. He sold off all of the ridiculously over-ambitious palaces that his brother had made in London and in Brighton Pavilion, and he decided to live in a small core section of palaces, such as Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle, and some other places that he decided that were realistic for them to live. And he went to the theatre, and he did concerts and things like that, but not on the scale of his brother at all. And at this point he tried to have a bit more of a handle on his nieces, who he had realised that would be, once he died, would be the only legitimate heir to the British throne. So he attempted to have a bit of a hand in her education and the ways that she was being brought up by her mother. Unfortunately, her mother, William's sister-in-law, refused to have anything to do with this, and she blocked him in at every turn. So, 7 years after him becoming king, he died at an old age in bed at Windsor Castle. I hope you have found this video interesting, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.